Test, test. Test. All right. Everything is working. Okay. Hello everybody, and welcome back to more Rising Phoenix Racing League. This is round 8 of Season 3, and we are at Italy, at Monza. So, probably my favorite track on this game. Really fun, really flowing, just really fun to go fast around or to go slow around. Depending on what kind of day I'm having. If I am on the pace or if I am 5 seconds slower than I thought I was. It's still fun to drive, so it's a track I really enjoy, and yeah, let's get into it. So we have a full grid today, plus 2 spectators. So 22 people in this, so the maximum, so that's very good. Hello Cobalt, and hello Hyper. Very good to have you here. I have my water, as always, topped up. Excuse those drinking noises. But yeah, I hope everything is well with the stream. And yeah. Alright, let me okay. Alright, so yeah, like I said before, 22 or 20 drivers, and yeah, this is a track I really love, so it's hopefully going to be a very good one. Like yesterday, safety car is off, and yeah, we're gonna see how the race is without a safety car. Because last time I think there was quite a few last season. I'm not sure though. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. It was only like a month ago, but so. But yeah. All right. So everything's set up. So and it's cloudy, so might be some rain on the way. So let's see what tires people go on, and if everyone rushes out of the pits quickly, like the Mercedes is of that is Cobalt. That's his side of the garage. He's the first one out on track, as thankfully Swanee is back. He had left a little bit ago, probably connection. Yeah, and hopefully the stream doesn't disconnect either. Yesterday, it just disconnected randomly, and it was down for like 5 minutes while I had to reset my PS4. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, and hopefully everything is all good. Alright, just to make sure, I'm going to make sure my phone is off and everything isn't using Wi-Fi, so I have the most bandwidth possible for this. My internet should be pretty good, but apparently it sometimes struggles with the streaming. But anyway, let's follow Cobalt here on his first outlap and flying lap. So Cobalt on the softs, then we got Luke on the mediums, well, and then Trench on the hards, just as examples of all 3 tire compounds being used, at least at the moment. Alright, so here comes Cobalt. Blasting down the straight as there's cars coming out of the pits. But from 218 miles an hour, braking very hard down into the first chicane. Hits both apexes very well. Blasts out into the Curva Grande, I believe it's called. Long turn 3 into the second chicane. Down to third gear. Ooh, a little bit wide on exit. A little squirmy there on the power. But it's alright. Through. Ooh, the first Lesmo. Through the second Lesmo. Back end quite slippy on this run. Really early on the power, most likely. Desperate to get the best lap time, of course. Doing pretty well so far, I would say. Ooh, almost losing it there at the exit of Ascari. That would have been bad. Thankfully, though, he's still going. Breaking down into the Parabolica. And blasting down the main straight once again. It's going to be a 121.8. Very, very good. So let's see who else. Oh, 119.7 by Big Slater. Extremely quick by Big Slater. As Cobalt's teammate goes 3/10ths quicker. And Deadwood sets a probably inaccurate lap time there. Probably had a mistake during the lap. Not too representative of the true pace of any driver here, probably. Ooh, getting very squirmy though. Onto the grass a little bit. Thankfully, he's still good. As we have, I believe, Maestro right behind Deadwood, trying to get past. Oh no, that's not Maestro, that's Fashix. And he's had to stop his lap. So very unfortunate there. As PG Killer is at the Rettifilio chicane. The first chicane, I believe it's called. Or the first chicane is called the Rettifilio, I think. As we have a stopped car. We have Jigsaw Moto in the middle of the track. Stranded. That could have been extremely bad. Almost gets collected by the Haas and by the McLaren following him. He's still stopped there though, so hopefully he can get going soon. So currently Big Slater is on provisional pole with a 19.7, followed by Konal, Bazooka Joe, Jay, and Trench. The nearest time to Big Slater is currently a second. And whoa, that was interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. One of the cars was, the Alpha was trying to get past the Ferrari, and the Ferrari weaved. Oh, that could have been a huge accident. Don't know if they saw him coming though, so I'm not going to say it was on purpose at all. Most likely just a very close call of an accident. And PG Killer goes P3 with a 121.0. Ooh, as Maestro has had an accident, or has had a spin at Ascari. He's gotten going again. He's gotten going again. As I believe this is a new driver, no reaction, new to the league for this race, and he's the only new driver, so let's give him a warm welcome. He's currently 11th with 22.8 and has an invalid time right now, but still a lot of time to go for another run. Let's go to drivers who haven't set a time yet. Trixky setting up purple first sector with a 26.0. Through the Lesmos. 1 and 2. Looking very strong so far. Let's see if the second sector's purple as well. It is. So this is looking to be a very strong time indeed. If he can finish it off strong in the third sector. Just one very tricky corner to go. On board here. And attacks it pretty well. And here we go, coming up to the line, it's going to be P3. It's going to be a 120.880. So very good by Vitrixky. There we go. As I believe Fashix is having connection issues, unfortunately. As Bun's back, I think just had a little bit of a slide there. As Colin goes P12 on the mediums with a 22.7. On board with Jack. One of the main competitors of Slater yesterday, so probably going to be very strong here as well. Of course, Big Slater went on to win the race yesterday. So let's see if he can repeat that today, or if someone else can take it from him. Okay. Ooh, that was a very interesting tactic there. Like just squeezing the throttle. Ooh, as Cobalt goes P2 with a 20.5, and Jack goes P3 with a 20.6. So that was a hell of a lap from Cobalt there. P2 on the softs, and Jack a very impressive lap as well. P3 on the mediums. Alright, so let's go on a whole lap here with Swanee. And this is totally not an excuse for me to quickly run downstairs and check something. Just gonna do this. Just gotta turn on my oven real quick. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Back to the action. Alright, so Swanee appears to have invalidated his time. So let's go to Luke. The only driver to not set a time yet. But it'll probably be a good one, considering A, he's naturally very quick, from what I've seen. And B, he's on the softs. That number 2 Red Bull coming through Parabolica. Up to the line. It's a 19.9, as Slater also improves and goes with to a 19.6. So 2 drivers in the 19s at the moment. Very good. Let's see, as Racing Maestro is beginning, or I think is, not sure if he's on a flying lap or if he's just finished one, because his ERS is pretty low, but he's still on 5. I think he's fit. I think this is an in lap, actually. Actually, it might not be. This might be a hot lap. He's a 10th and a half up in the first sector, so I'll stick with him for this. as I believe Bazooka Joe has just improved to go P3 with a 20.1. Was Racing Maestro's lost it, and he's DNF'd at Ascari, losing it on the exit curb of the final portion of the very fast, I guess, chicane, you would call it, but losing his front left wheel and unfortunately DNFing from the session. So he's not going to get a final lap in. He will stay P8 at the highest before any possible grid penalties. So that's very very unfortunate for him. I think this is an in-lap from Bazooka Joe. So let's go to Trixky, who is a 10th and a half up in his first sector time, or first sector split, and now appears to be running into a little bit of traffic in the form of Trench, but he lets him through, so it's all good. Ooh, and validates his lap at the Ascari chicane. That would have been a very good lap, so that really sucks. Probably would have brought him up, probably at least the 3 or 4 positions at least, with the pace he was on. As Fastrix has retired from the session, I believe he's had the same incident that Maestro had at Ascari, we can see there. So that is very, very frustrating for them, it must be. As I believe both these drivers aren't on hot laps. Or they both won't improve at least. Yeah, I think they're both on in laps. And no reaction is actually out of fuel, it seems. But thankfully he's back into the pits. All good. As Cobalt is beginning his third and final flying lap. So let's watch him here. Ooh, a little bit of a slide there. It was a very good initial turn in to that chicane, but the exit was a little bit slidey. Ooh, more slides into the first Lesmo. He holds it though very well. Ooh, a little bit too much on the second Lesmo though. Oh, and he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall pretty hard, but luckily he's still in this. But I don't think he's gonna get another run in. So that's very unfortunate for Cobalt, but at least he's P7 at the moment. So obviously it could be a lot worse. And at least he didn't DNF. So he can be, I guess, thankful for that at least. But yeah, it was looking to be a decent lap from what it looked like. So unfortunate that that happened. Just went a little bit too wide on the second Lesmo, I think, and had to turn into the steer or into the oversteer and hit the wall. But yeah, thankfully it wasn't hard enough to break anything or any wheel. That is. And now there's a big flurry of cars coming out all at once. As I believe PG Killer is on a hot lap. Is just starting the hot lap, or their hot lap, so this is going to get very interesting. He has 4 cars to navigate through this lap. That will all be going slower than him, considerably, I believe. So let's see how this works out. Now the game says he's on an out lap, but I know for a fact he's not. This is definitely hot, I think, or maybe it's an in lap actually. I don't know. Let's just stay with him just in case. Ooh, almost sliding there. PG Killer. Yeah, he's definitely on a hot lap here. So let's see if he can improve or not. Let's hope he can. Let's hope. What's it gonna be? It's going to be an improvement of around 4/10, I believe. And it's gonna be a 120.767 for PG Killer, putting him P13. So good to see an improvement there from him. But now he has to get out of the way for the other cars starting their laps at the very end of the session here, including Bazooka Joe, who is a tenth and a half up in the first sector. So let's stay with him. Ooh, very fast into Ascari, as Slater goes even faster with a 19.4, but Bazooka Joe is absolutely flying, or appears to be at least. Very, very good lap by Bazooka Joe so far. Let's see if he can nail this final corner. Right up to the edge of the line, and it is going to be a 20.1, so half a tenth a bit and a bit more up, to make it a 120.113, as Luke Vettel actually beats Big Slater to pole with a 19.4 right on. So very impressive by Bazooka Joe, Gemez Turish, Big Slater, and Luke Vettel. Yeah, everyone there. And alright, I think that's it for the times. I think we're just waiting for PG Killer in the pits now. And alright. Thankfully, Cobalt has rejoined. And there we go. So that is qualifying. Done. Alright, so your qualifying order is Luke Vettel on pole. 8 hundredths of a second back to Big Slater. Then we have Gemez, Bazooka Joe, Konal, Deadwood Bear, Shady, Jigsaw Moto, Jack King, Vitrixky, Cobalt, Swanee, Bunsback, J Jig, Racing Maestro, PG Killer, Trench, Colin, Fashix, and No Reaction. Alright, so let's see what it's like in the race now, in terms of weather and in terms of track action. Pretty excited for this one. I really love Monza, and turn 1 is always interesting to see how drivers negotiate it. Alright, so it's a lovely sunny day, race day, so that's good. Alright. So obviously we're going to have the formation lap, and then the form lap, and we're going to go. 27 laps, half race distance. And fun fact, this will most likely be the shortest, or in fact this will be the shortest race in terms of the winner's time, probably in the whole season. It will always be at Italy unless it's wet. Just because it's a lot of distance, but it's okay. Well, for the amount of time it takes to complete a lap, it's a short amount of laps. Usually with a track that is like, usually it would be more laps than 27 to get to 150 kilometers for half a race distance. But because it's such a fast track, you can complete a lot of kilometers shorter because there's a lot of straights. So you can complete a lot more kilometers in a shorter amount of time. But yeah. So yeah, this will probably be the fastest race, or the shortest race from lights out to the flag. And whoever wins it will be very happy, I'm sure. Alright, and one more thing I wanted to mention. Not sure if any of you care or not, but this is my 15th race commentating for this league, and commentating overall over pretty much anything. So I just wanted to say thank you before the race begins. Thank you for watching and all the support, all the kind messages, and the all the chats, the YouTube chats, the PlayStation chat, and the Discord. And yeah, I just want to thank all of you, and I hope that that you are all doing well, and let's have another good race. Can't believe it's been 15 already, but well, it's actually not 15 is actually not that much. It's only like 7 weeks, but yeah, when I first started this I was very nervous for France of season 2 round 6, but yeah, I'm much more comfortable now, and I really enjoy it. So thank you to everyone who's been very kind to me and has not roasted me every race. Thank you very much. Alright, so everyone is lining up now. So we are about to get going. The final car is on the grid right now, and here we go. A very long run into the very short corner there, or very tight corner there. 5 red lights to the Italian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and there's a car stopped on the track starting. That's going to probably cause some mayhem, and there's a lot of mayhem indeed. 4 or 5 cars out there, all with no wings. That would definitely be a safety car, as into turn 1 goes 3 abreast into turn 1. Gamez being pushed off wide, Ferraris and Red Bulls battling. Crazy start. There would definitely be a safety car if it was on, but it is not, so we are still going. Luke Vettel leads from Gamez, from Konal, from Bazooka Joe, from Slater, Jigsaw Moto, someone cutting the corner. I think it's Cobalt. Oh, more damage, more contact between the drivers. Crazy stuff to start the Italian Grand Prix. Colin with no wing, Deadwood with no wing, Trench with damage, I'm sure. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely unreal. And we have another incident. We have, I think that is Jay, who has spun, or has been hit, or has hit someone else, and has no wing now as well. Up back at the front, Luke still leads from Gamez, from Bazooka Joe, Konal, Big Slater, Jigsaw Moto, and Jack. I believe the top 5 cars all without damage at this moment. But yeah, into turn 1, it was 3 wide, barely, into the Rotorfilio chicane. Luke with the fastest lap with a 25.4. 1 lap down, 26 to go. Ooh, as Konal has to mount the curbs and almost makes contact with Bazooka Joe there. Buns back, gets a penalty for pit lane speeding, as Slater and Konal are now side by side through the Curva Grande. Ooh, dives up the inside in the second chicane. Williams has to cut it for safety reasons. I'm not sure if that's going to be allowed though. That might be a warning or something from the game, or from the stewards after the race. We will see. Of course, we want really hard racing, but we don't want any unfair advantages. But yeah, not saying that was, but some people might see it differently than others, so I don't know. Oh, a Spashix and PG killer Fashix and PG Killer come together down the straight, carbon fiber flying everywhere. It seems that Fashix turned in a little bit on PG Killer from my perspective, but they'll have to obviously watch the replay of that. The stream caught it all, so hopefully Hyper or someone else can watch that back later. That's going to be controversial. Luke with another fastest lap, a 23.0, ending lap 2, still in the lead from Gamez and Bazooka Joe. Back for the battle for 17th, Racing Maestro and Colin. Are we going to have a repeat of what happened with PG Killer and Fashix? No, thankfully not. They're going to stay side by side into Ascari with the Toro Rosso maintaining that advantage. But for how long? We will see. Bounce back, setting a purple second sector. Oh, as Jay loses it, and Jigsaw Moto has retired from the session. So a horrible day for Jigsaw and a horrible day for Jay so far. Last place and then had another incident. Thankfully, no damage though. But Jigsaw Moto has had an incident of his own and is now out of the race. So very unfortunate for him. So of course Luke still leads the race from 7/10 from Gamez Turish. Konal has dropped back significantly, down into 7th place now. We have another incident. I believe that's Deadwood. Deadwood has spun at the second chicane, possibly contact with another car or someone or something, but we'll find out later. Oh, as Racing Maestro DNFs, cut to him just in time to see that. Racing Maestro DNFing from the race into the walls of the same place I crashed in the latest season of OBRC actually. Yeah, just getting onto the curb a little bit too much, I think, just like what I had done. And yeah, it's very easy to lose it there. So I really feel for him. But DNFing on lap 4. Or lap 3, I believe. Ooh, as Jay has Jay has retired as well, right at the exit of Ascari, probably mounting the curb again. Well, not again for him, but like another car that mounts a curb and loses it into the walls. Yeah, I believe that's what happened. So we're now up to 3 DNFers in the first 4 laps. Including an extremely spread out field here. Oh, as Konal. Oh, Konal's had an incident as well. It's going very slowly. I need some water. Jeez, my throat's dry. All the screaming from lap 1. But yeah, crazy stuff. Alright, let's go back to the battle for the top positions. Yep, Gamez and Slater still keeping with Luke here. Alright, I should enable this stuff. There we go. Very low ERS for Luke at the moment, very high for Gamez, and medium for Slater. So we are going to see now 0% for Luke, still in the highest ERS mode. Deadwood gets a penalty for multiple warnings. And Luke goes a little bit too deep there, compromising his run out of the corner. But still maintains that lead. Slater slowly approaching Gamez into the Parabolica. And he might just get him here if he has with DRS. It's looking to be so, as he's barely closing in with the slipstream as well. Goes down the inside. Down the inside. As no reaction, DNFs from the race at Ascari. And Big Slater gets past Gamez Turish for P2. And now he's going to be chasing down Luke. Ooh, almost two more slides there from Buttonsback and Deadwood at the very same spot. Side by side go Cobalt and PG Killer. PG Killer remains ahead of Cobalt. Now Big Slater with a lot more speed already, plus DRS, plus Slipstream. Let's see if he can catch him here. Going 12 miles an hour faster already by the end of the straight. Ooh, Luke going a little bit too deep. But staying ahead at the moment, unless Slater is going to go around the outside of turn 3, which is going to become the inside of turn 4. And they're side by side. Luke has to go a little bit. Luke has to go wide, and Big Slater gets P1 for the lead of the race. Now let's see if Luke can fight back with DRS. And it looks like he can, and he will. Side by side into Ascari. Luke gets P1 back. But now Slater has a Slipstream. And on this next straight, surely he's going to get him back, I think. Considering Luke is on very low ERS. Plus DRS, plus Slipstream. And, oh yeah, definitely he goes to the inside. Then overtakes around the outside. And Big Slater is back up into P1. So back and forth between these two has been really good so far. Let's hope it can stay that way. And no incidents happen. But yeah, very crazy stuff in these opening 8.5 laps. As Cobalt gets a penalty for multiple warnings. With side by side, Cobalt and Tashix, they nearly make contact or rub a little bit, I think. As Konal is exiting the pits. Alright, so let's see the best. Ooh, as we've had a slight incident, I think. Maybe someone going onto the gravel. I think it might have been Jack. Jack currently in P5. As Cullen has to go wide and spins the Renault around, trying to defend from Deadwood. And so does Bunsback as well. He spins it as well. Both at the same corner at the same time. And Cullen spins again. Cullen with no damage. Bunsback with significant damage to the front wing. As Bunsback almost spins as well. When Bunsback spins again and hits the wall. Now what's this gonna do for the leaders coming up? Ooh, Luke is gonna get caught out by it, or maybe just got caught on the curb as Bunsback gets disqualified for trying to turn around. Very unfortunate for him. And Colin gets a penalty. But Luke almost lost it there actually. As soon as he saw Bunsback spun around there and got caught on the curb. So that could have been a huge incident. Now Luke with DRS on Slater. Going to the inside, very far deep into the inside. Side by side into the first chicane. Luke is currently in front and stays in front. Very well done. With the Ferraris slightly behind in P3 and P4. As Big Slater's trying to come back at Luke. Ooh, but loses it on the curb a little bit. Ooh, as back here there's another battle between Fashiks and Swanee. Oh, it's back at the front. It's side by side between Luke and Slater. Slater just gets in front, but Luke might try diving it back down the inside. Ooh, as Luke comes into the pits after 12 laps, probably to go onto the mediums. But yeah, so far, Fashik's up 13 places. So it's been a very good race from him so far. From 19th to 13th, or 16th, or 6th, up 13 spots. As Swanee gets a little bit loose on the curb there, I believe, and is now navigating the car of Swanee, who is ghosting. As Luke comes out of the pits, and Swanee goes deep into the first chicane. And now Luke is right on the tail of Swanee, or Fashiks. Fashiks goes to the inside to defend. It is, if I see, it is fresh mediums versus 11 lap old mediums, plus damage on the Toro Rosso. So I would not fight this too hard if I was Fashiks, but he is fighting seemingly for his life out there. But yeah, it's been a very strong race from Fashiks so far. Ooh, as he's still fighting with Luke. Ooh, and gets a little bit loose there. Almost has a big accident, but thankfully not. And Bazooka Joe and Big Slater both into the pits. Bazooka Joe, or Big Slater coming out. Bazooka Joe serving a penalty and then going out. But crucially for Slater, he is in front of Luke. Followed by Fashiks and Swanee. Then Gamez and Bazooka Joe. And Jack. So the race is looking very good for Slater at the moment. But anything can happen, so he still has to concentrate for the majority of the race yet to go, or with the majority of the race yet to be completed. all the gaps are pretty big right now, so yeah. Swanee is getting pretty close to Fashix. Just 6/10ths away at the moment. As Deadwood is also pretty close to Cobalt. Ooh, and we have a little bit of an incident there, but it's resolved itself. Ooh, as far at the back, Cobalt and Deadwood battling it out. Big Slater goes fastest with another 23-0 there. Trench gets a penalty for multiple warnings. And Deadwood now with DRS on Cobalt is going to go probably to the inside here, but then backs out of it. Maybe trying to force Cobalt into an error. Ooh. Ooh. Now Cobalt had an error there, but Deadwood almost spun it himself. But they're side by side, and Cobalt maintains P13. As Fashix gets a penalty for warnings. And now with DRS, it's looking pretty good for Deadwood to overtake Cobalt here. But Cobalt's gonna fight with everything he's got. Down into the first chicane. They go. And Deadwood gets past. And now Gemez is pretty close to Swanee and Fashix, as he goes right past Swanee and is now going to chase down Fashix for P3. And now Gemez is on fresher tires, and doesn't have wing damage, so I'm expecting him to close up pretty quickly. Ooh, but he breaks way too late and he hits Fashix. Thankfully, no one spins. But now he's under pressure from Swanee again. Big Slater still leads from Luke up at the front, as you can see on the minimap, by 2.6 seconds. Again. Am I still streaming? I am. Alright, if someone can please re-invite me, that would be greatly appreciated. I lost connection. If anyone's watching, I think Hyper's watching. That would be very lovely if I could get an invite. Let's see if I can post a message in the chat. Oh, I think I just got it. Oh, and apparently I can't be invited back. So that sucks. Let's see if I can join myself. Um, I'll see if I can join it myself here. I don't think so. That really sucks. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this. Let me see if it was a if it was a if it was one of these. It's probably a private lobby though, right? So I think, oh, but just to be sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is with my connection so far. Or these last two races. Maybe if I try